Prime Big Deal Days is coming October 8th and 9th. Woohoo! Which can lead to involuntary deal squeals, like the infamous deal on a new massager squeal. Yeah! Save big on Prime Big Deal Days, October 8th and 9th.
Elevate your game in the all-new Hyundai Santa Fe, the capable SUV that features premium interiors with available captain's chairs, available dual wireless device charging, and bold new technology, all with plenty of room for your cargo and crew. Okay, Hyundai. Visit HyundaiUSA.com to learn more about the all-new 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe.
Want to make a podcast? Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily, distribute it everywhere, and even earn money, all in one place for free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit your podcasts right from your phone or your computer. So no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard. Video podcasts are also available on Spotify, and when you want to take conversations with your fans to the next level, Q&As and polls are the best way to get them talking. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. Ever since I discovered Spotify for Podcasters, I feel so supported in the creation and distribution of my show. Spotify for Podcasters hosts masterclasses, office hours, and more to help creators develop and fine-tune their skills. I highly recommend you give it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to spotify.com/podcasters to get started. Gratitude can totally change your perspective on whatever you're going through, and approaching situations of adversity or conflict with gratitude, with kind of the lens of like, what is this teaching me? What does this situation have to offer me? Is such a cool mindset to be in. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I hope that you're having a great Thanksgiving day with your family and your friends, or if you're not listening on Thanksgiving, I hope that you're having a good day. If you are listening on Thanksgiving, that is perfect timing because today's episode is all about gratitude. And I wanted to kick this episode off just by telling you guys how grateful I am for the ability to host this podcast and the ability to have a platform, and just thank you guys so much for allowing me to create content for you and coming back every week to listen. I was reposting some Instagram stories that you guys had tagged me in last night, and someone said, starting my day with @LilyRayco, listening to 80/20, and I was like, that is so cool that you make me a part of your morning routine. I know I say it in every episode, but thank you from the bottom of my heart for clicking on today's episode. It's pretty freaking cool that I get to do this, and that's because of you guys. Now that we've got the sappy stuff out of the way, I hope that this episode isn't too sappy. I've been in kind of like a sappy, vibe lately for some reason. I guess really just tapped into the feelings. So I'll try to make things a little more lighthearted, but we're going to keep it kind of short and sweet today. We're going to talk about why you should practice gratitude, why it's important, and then we're going to talk about the actual action of starting a gratitude practice. So no life updates today, no segments today. You guys will get tons and tons and tons of those in the month of December. I guess it's just like a little announcement / heads up. This coming Monday, there won't be a new episode because the following Thursday, December 1st, which is like so perfect that December 1st falls on a Thursday because we're starting something crazy the whole month of December. So December 1st will be the first episode of this cool thing that I'm doing. Cool / crazy. I don't know. People have kind of looked at me like I have 10 heads when I tell them that I'm doing this, but that's totally fine. But yeah, so no episode Monday. I think it's the 28th, and then December 1st, which is a Thursday, there will be a new episode. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be a good one, and you guys are going to absolutely love what is going to happen in the month of December. So if you're not subscribed, you totally should subscribe. And if you want to know a little bit early what this thing is, you should totally join the Geneva group chat. That is a place for the 80/20 community to connect with one another. So you can click the link in the show notes that says connect with other 80/20 listeners to join the chat and figure out what this top secret thing is that's going down in the month of December. Why bother practicing gratitude? About 3 years ago, I was in a therapy session. My therapist recommended that I start a gratitude practice. And she said that it can be as simple as jotting down 1 or 2 things that I'm grateful for on a sticky note every day and just putting it on my mirror. And she said that I can keep the same sticky note and continue adding to it, or I could do it in a journal, or I could do a new sticky note every day, or I could do it in my phone, or there's apps for it. But just find a place to write down some things that you're grateful for every day. And I looked at her and like nodded my head in agreement. But in reality, I was like, that sounds kind of stupid. And I was like, I'm not actually gonna, like, that's cheesy. I'm not gonna do that every day. That just seems really, like, just silly to me. But then I started to do a little bit more research. I kind of started to dig a little bit deeper into the idea of practicing gratitude on a daily basis. Obviously, we all know Thanksgiving. It's a time to be grateful, thankful. It's literally called Thanksgiving. You give thanks. It's fun to be around family, and there's traditions, and there's good food and lots of fun. And my family would always do the, corny tradition that you go around the table and you say one thing that you're grateful for. That was kind of like my relationship to practicing gratitude. And obviously, I would say please and thank you. And I would like write thank you notes on, if someone gave me a gift for my birthday, but I never actively practiced gratitude on a day-to-day basis. So I started to dig a little bit deeper into practicing gratitude, and I learned a couple cool things. So one of those cool things was that when you start to slowly recognize the little things that you're grateful for, the good stuff, the beauty in everyday life, nature, something in the brain begins to change. And that's because you're not constantly focused on the negative, you're focused on the positive. A great example of this is the morning. And we'll kind of get into like a morning routine gratitude practice stuff when we get into like the action step portion of this episode. But if you think about your morning, for example, a lot of people don't like waking up in the morning because it's early, you're tired, maybe people bother you in the morning, maybe you have to go to a job that you don't like, or you have to deal with things that you don't want to deal with, whatever. If you're super focused on the negative and you just complain about waking up in the morning, of course it's going to suck. But if you kind of flip the narrative and you become grateful for your cup of coffee, or you become grateful for being up so early that you get to watch the sunrise, by finding little things in your morning to be grateful for, it makes it a lot easier to start your day on a good note. As I was prepping for today's episode, I started to Google a little bit more about gratitude. And I guess just like some quick hitter little fun facts about gratitude is that it helps people feel more positive with emotions, which is what we just talked about. It can improve your physical health. It can help you deal with adversity, build stronger relationships, friendships, and just overall make you a happier person. And that totally makes sense, right? I read a quote the other day that said, if you live in gratitude, it's easy to see little miracles everywhere. So when you start practicing gratitude, you can start to see little things in your day-to-day life to be happy about. I know I'm going to start to overuse the word grateful in today's episode, but just more things to be grateful for. So when you flip the gratitude switch, you start to notice little things to be grateful for. So kind of combing back through my day today, a good example of this is leaving my street, my house. I have to make a left-hand turn, so I have to cross a really busy street and make a left turn. And typically there's a lot of cars and I end up sitting there for 2 to 3 minutes. And most of the time I'm running late. So sitting at the stop sign is heavily cutting into my wiggle room. And every time I leave my apartment and there's nobody there and I get to freely make this left-hand turn, I typically send out a little bit of gratitude because I'm like, that was a little miracle because I can get to work 2 minutes earlier today. So something as simple as a green light or less heavy traffic on a day that you're running late is something so small, yet something to be incredibly grateful for. So that's just a really small example of something that happened to me this morning, but I'm sure that there are little things in your life that you kind of might take for granted, but instead it's actually an opportunity to practice gratitude. So when something happens that I'm grateful for, I will just send up a little prayer. So for me, that's just saying, hey God, thanks for, clearing the traffic for me. Now I can get to work a little bit quicker. I don't know exactly what that looks like for you, but I'm a firm believer that nothing happens on accident. So when an opportunity comes your way that you are grateful for, whether it's like an email that you were waiting on, or a cool person comes into your life, or maybe it's like some sort of little gift or quote or sign or thing that brightened your day, be sure to say thank you for that. In addition to living in gratitude on a day-to-day basis, I have a very specific morning gratitude practice that I do. There are so many different ways that you can go about this. I know I opened the episode saying that my therapist listed off a couple different options for a gratitude practice, but for me, what I found is the best way to do this is in my journal in the morning. I'm big on journaling, and I typically keep it pretty loose. The only prompt that I really ask myself is, what are you grateful for? And I try to write down new things every day. Obviously, there are repeats on that list, but I like to be creative with it. So if I'm grateful for a specific person, yeah, I might write down their name, but I might also write down something that they've done for me lately that I'm grateful for, like a specific scenario, or maybe something that they said or something that they did. If I'm grateful for my morning coffee, maybe I'm grateful for the temperature that it is. It's like the perfect temperature and I didn't burn my tongue today. I don't know, whatever it is. I try to keep it new. I keep it fresh and stretch myself beyond just the material things in front of me. It's one thing to say, I'm grateful for a beautiful sunrise this morning, but it's another thing to say, I'm grateful for fill in the blank here, get creative with it and make it kind of new and different and spice things up every day. Another big theme for me in my life lately has been community building. And when I go through my gratitude practice in the morning, I typically do write down names in there. It depends on the relationship that you have with this person to just text them out of the blue hey, I'm grateful for you. Although if it is Thanksgiving, it's probably not out of the blue. So text your friends that you're grateful for them. If it kind of would be weird if I would just flat out tell this person that I'm grateful for them, I somehow try to slip it into a conversation. So regardless of how you tell the people in your life that you're grateful for them, it's always so cool to hear from another person that your friendship, that your relationship means a lot to them. So if you're going through your morning gratitude and a person pops into your head, maybe you shoot them a text or maybe you slip it into a conversation. But I definitely think that we should all express a little bit more our gratitude towards the people in our lives because they are actively choosing to be in our lives, and that is something to be incredibly grateful for. I also think it's important to thank the people that you come in contact with outside of your circle of friends, outside of your family. So thank the person who holds the door for you. Thank the cashier at the grocery store, because oftentimes I think that we forget that strangers are humans too, and you truly never know what type of day someone's having. Sometimes all that they need to brighten their day is, a thank you and a smile. And I firmly believe thanking the strangers that you come in contact with can go a long way too. Last but not least, another cool way that you can practice gratitude, which is kind of perfectly timed with the holiday season coming up, is thank you notes. So my mom, from a super young age, my mom was always big on making us write thank you notes. And obviously when you're a kid, you're this is so annoying that I have to do this extra thing and whatever. But it was such a good practice that she instilled in us, because birthdays, Christmas, whatever it was, thank you notes had to be sent out within a week of getting your gifts. And it's kind of rude not to. Obviously as a kid, you're oh, I don't want to do this. But as an adult, I am so big on thank you notes, even a thank you follow-up email, thank you follow-up LinkedIn message, thank you DM. Whenever someone does something nice for you, it's always nice to be appreciated for doing that nice thing. And a little handwritten note can go a long, long way. I'm going to leave you guys with a quote, and it's super simple, and it's from Pinterest. No surprise there. It says, no matter what is going on, be thankful. When you feel like what you're experiencing is not enough, instead of allowing yourself to get frustrated, anxious, discouraged, or disappointed, choose to channel gratitude. We kind of touched on this at the beginning of the episode, but I wholeheartedly think that gratitude can totally change your perspective on whatever you're going through, and approaching situations of adversity or conflict or whatever with gratitude, with kind of the lens of what is this teaching me? What can I take away from this? What does this situation have to offer me? Is such a cool mindset to be in, because you're not weighed down by negativity. So approaching life through a lens of gratitude is incredibly important. So not just on Thanksgiving, but every day. My wish for you is that you choose gratitude. Love you guys lots. Y'all know I'm so, so grateful for you. There's so many cool things coming that I can't even tell you yet, but it's going to be super exciting. And I just wake up every day I write it in my journal every day. I'm so thankful for you guys. So just know that you're in there too. And I truly would not be who I am without you. So thank you. So with that all being said, sappy stuff out of the way, I hope that you guys go have a great Thanksgiving, enjoy all the food, do your family traditions, spend time with friends. I don't know if you're a Thanksgiving Day 5K family, or if you're a Macy's Day Parade family, or if you're both, or if you're neither. But whatever you do today, I hope that you have a full heart and a full stomach and a great Thanksgiving. Love you guys.